Hi, this is Hart, and I have a few basics on the table. Magazine images, some paint, the music for Purple Rain, and a palette knife, a couple paint brushes, and a bingo dauber. I'm using my bingo dauber to attach some purple color to the Purple Rain music. And then I'm just ripping the music into the three sections. Are those called bars? Not sure what they're called, but the three sections of music. And my intent here was I thought it would be kind of fun to have the music itself on the front of this record album. And this is me trying to get brave enough to start painting and doing reverse collage inside of a book. I decided to play on a record first. I have never done reverse collage before, so this is a first for me. I have done lots of collage before, so laying the papers out and deciding where to put it as if I've already started collaging is what's going on in my head. So I do love Prince, and I do love Purple Rain. And my purple, as I'm looking at it here, I'm thinking, oh, that purple's pretty bright. These spoons, even though it's on a purple background, they have a purple hint of color to the spoon itself. I end up painting over once I get the purple that I want on the color of that spoon. I apply that down at the bottom. That's off screen later. So I'm using this paint for the first time, so I'm going to take advantage of the paint that's already on the lid and just cover up that line. I don't know what they were thinking when they designed this record cover with the flowers on the left and right, as if they only had an elongated Purple Rain poster or something, that they liked the poster and then it was too narrow, and so they just added flowers on both sides. So I'm just using my spatula to apply it. Is it called a spatula? Whatever that's called. Palette knife. I'm using my palette knife to apply the paint, and then I apply Liquitex Basics. I put way too much red in this, so you'll see I add a little bit more blue. After I add red, I was thinking about adding pink. But essentially I'm trying to mix a darker color. In my head, what I'm looking for is not rain. I have wisteria in my head, but I wanted the wisteria to feel blurred, like someone had taken a picture of it and then blurred it 50 times, because I wasn't feeling comfortable enough to paint the wisteria on this page. And yes, I know I apply my paint thick. I enjoy the texture of paint itself. That's kind of what I'm worried about in working in the Abandoned Places book, is I tend to paint thick. And so I think I'm going to have to learn to paint thinner. And acrylic is somewhat of a new medium for me, only the last couple of years, and not even regularly painting. And I can still use some of the same techniques with the paintbrush or in this case, the palette knife. And now you see my wisteria, it's going to get muddied up because I didn't want it to look like grapes or particular flower. I wanted it to be super blurred, so you only focus on Prince in the middle on his motorcycle. And so I've already sped up the video, but essentially what you're going to watch for the next parts of the video is me using either the palette knife or a paintbrush. I do have a boar's hair bristle paintbrush. I'm not sure if that's comfortable for you guys for applying the paint, but for me, I like it. It doesn't leave any bristles in there, and I knew I wanted to keep this album when I was done, so that's why I didn't want the bristles left in there. I do normally use cheapy paintbrushes, and these I bought them at Ross, so they're actually a brand new set for me. And it was only $5.99 for a whole bunch of them, and I was quite excited about that. And as I'm adding this color, you'll see that I've mixed it several different times, and so I start with one base color that's darker, and then I add another color and go a little bit lighter, add another color and go lighter. So I'm mixing it up between almost a plum in the background, besides my crazy purple that I applied first and felt like, ooh, that's a little bit too bright. It'll have to be mixed in, but that's okay. It does end up getting covered up, and I'm just making sure that there's no white left from that silly flower thing on both the left and right edges. It does look cool on the back of the album, like it wrapped around to the front, but just wanted to get rid of that. There's a subtle lady in the upper left, and I didn't want to lose her either. Instead of wasting paint, I do apply it to book pages, and then I'll stencil over it or do whatever later with that paint. And so you'll see me do that just a couple of different times. And now at this point, all the white's finally gone. And oops, I left some lines, so I'm gonna have to come back through with my palette knife and gradually get rid of some of those lines. But by the way, that's a fun way to put lines in if you do intentionally want the lines. Now I'm adding a purple paint. It's a very thick paint that I bought on super clearance at Hobby Lobby a while ago. I have that in a crafting haul video somewhere. Yeah, you have to watch me wash off the brush a little bit there. Oh no, not washing off the brush. So I grabbed 6 Q-tips, maybe it's 7, and I used a rubber band to attach the Q-tips together. And I still want to finish a bit with more purple with my paintbrush before I move on to what I would call the lightest bit of detail. And now I'm starting to get the feeling that it is blurring, and I do feel like I'm walking into a world of wisteria. So that's what's going on in my head right now, but I know that I want more dimension, more layers. And what I think is good when I look at paintings is when I see multiple colors and multiple layers, and I don't like my paint overly mixed. That way, even when you're applying the paint, it has a variety of color in that paint itself. And so now I'm going to come back through with my little 6 or 7 pack of Q-tips that I've rubber banded together, and that's, you know, if you don't have a paintbrush and you do have some Q-tips and you have only a couple of colors, you can really get some layers and dimension out of that. And I'm not one to just use colors straight out of the jar too often. I like that variety, I like the mixture. And so I'm using this pink to just act like most people would use white, to highlight the various areas, to give it more dimension again. Even though, like I said, it's still quite blurred. In my head, I'm wondering if I want to bring a hint of orange here and there, because I do like the orange on the inside combined with the purple. But decide as I'm cleaning off my Q-tips there. I don't know why. Oh yeah, to put the paint on the book pages. Anyway, you could see I had way too much leftover paint on that one. I need to get much better, and I'm still working at this. I need to get much better at not overly pouring the paint out. It's just, I want to keep going and getting the right paint mix, so I end up using a lot of paint. So now I'm ready to attach, and I'm trying to get a good feel. Do I like this? My paint wasn't quite wet enough to use it as a glue. So I have my Liquitex matte gel that I just put off into my little fish bowl here, and using my dirty paintbrush to apply it, because I don't mind if it gets a little bit mucked up on the front of the music notes. And so I do the same with the next 2 music notes that I had cut out. Being a little careful because I know the paint's still wet, and so I don't want to accidentally put my brush on the top too much. The spoon here is the same one that I fussy cut before. Sorry, that's a bit off screen, but I attach it just below his foot, and then paint the metal part of the spoon the same purple. That way it ties in with the purple color that I had on my palette already. And I consider this done enough. I'll probably come back and finish it later. But thanks for watching. Take care.